Hello everybody, my name is Olivia Crowell and this is my final case study presentation. I chose to work with my niece. She actually really struggles with the alphabet, so I thought this was a perfect opportunity to help her out while helping me complete this assignment. So for the purpose of this assignment, her name is Jane Doe for FERPA reasons, and she is 6 years old and she is in kindergarten. For her PLAFP, based on a letter-sound identification assessment administered on February 24, 2021, Jane Doe scored 66% in letter name recognition and 61% in letter sound recognition. At this point, according to Reading Foundational Skills Standard 1, recognize and name all upper and lowercase letters of the alphabet, Jane Doe is performing below grade level. I really like that they put in this standard upper and lowercase letters of the alphabet because she struggled identifying some of the uppercase letters versus some of the lowercase. So whereas B was correct in uppercase and D was correct in uppercase, B and D were mixed up in lowercase. According to the Utah Core Standards, by the end of kindergarten, Jane Doe should be able to identify these things at 100% accuracy. Jane Doe's difficulties in reading impact her ability to maintain achievement in the general curriculum as she is required to read common high-frequency words by sight, isolate and pronounce the initial, medial, vowel, and final sounds in 3 phoneme words, add or substitute individual sounds in simple one-syllable words to make new words, distinguish between similarly spelled words by identifying the sounds of the letters that differ, capitalize the first word in a sentence and the pronoun I, and spell simple words phonetically and drawing on their knowledge of sound-letter relationships. This will also impact her academic success in instructional settings that require reading understanding such as science, history, and math. Reading relates to everything, so I put all of the other courses in there. So this is kind of small, sorry about that, but I will explain this a little bit in the next slide, but this is the basic graph format for Jane Doe's baseline data and intervention data. We will do 3 trials every single intervention session, so that's why each trial is down here with the different colors, and then it is from 0 to 55, even though there are only 52 letters, uppercase and lowercase, that we are doing in this intervention, the only ones that exist. I wanted to make sure they were included on the graph. Jane Doe will correctly identify all the uppercase letters with their correct sounds in the English alphabet with 100% accuracy using flashcards as measured by the special education teacher during live class instruction, curriculum-based assessments, formal and informal, and completion of coursework. Now the second IEP goal right here is the exact same, as you can see, except for right here where it says lowercase letters. I wanted to make sure to include 2 separate IEP goals because uppercase letters and lowercase letters are so different in look, usually. Jane Doe will correctly identify all the lowercase and uppercase letters in the English alphabet with 100% accuracy by completing the letter sound identification score sheet as measured by the special education teacher in curriculum-based assessment and completion of coursework. So usually I wouldn't put 100% accuracy, but that is the standard. All students need to be able to recognize all letters of the alphabet and their sounds, so I put 100% accuracy. So for Jane's intervention, I provided flashcards with both lowercase and uppercase letters, so we had 52 flashcards in total, and we went over letter identification and then again for sound recognition. We completed this process 3 times per session and met for 20 minutes over the span of 6 weeks. Here are the standards in the first intervention that standards, objectives, and essential questions that were addressed and met. Standard 1 is just the standard that was mentioned in the PLAFP goal, Reading Foundational Skills Standard 1. The objectives: students will be able to correctly identify the sounds of all the letters of the alphabet verbally, including all vowel sounds with 75% accuracy as recorded by the special education teacher. And then the essential question: why is it important that I know my ABCs? Here are the materials and steps for this intervention. Flashcards, red marker, and an alphabet poster. We used the alphabet poster to sing the alphabet as an anticipatory set at the beginning of each intervention, and so that she could demonstrate that she knows all of the letters of the alphabet. She just needed help practicing recognizing which letters were which. Then I asked the student, why is it important that we know our ABCs? I only asked this question in the first intervention because she was able to answer it. So the essential question was met in the first intervention. Do you know your vowels was the next question. She promptly responded A-E-I-O-U, and she sang a little song. So then we went through all of her flashcards and marked all of the vowels with a red marker to remind her that vowels can be a little bit tricky when it comes to sound. Then we reviewed the names of the letters on all of the flashcards. This was our redo section. And then the student was on her own. And she identified the lowercase and uppercase letters of the alphabet with the correct sounds as I held up the flashcards, and if she messed up, I corrected her as needed. And then we reviewed those 3 times. By the end of the lesson, the student should be identifying all letters of the alphabet correctly with their correct sounds with 75% accuracy. So here is her baseline data and her week 2 intervention. So you can see 35, 36, 36 here in week 1. That is her 60%, those scores. That's where those come from. And then this was week 2, and I scored all of them out of 52. So instead of scoring 60% and 60% on letter recognition and sound recognition separately, I combined the 2 scores just for easy data recognition. And by the end of this strategy on week 2, 39 out of 52 is actually 75% accuracy. So she met that goal in trial 1 after this first intervention, and then she exceeded that goal in trial 2 and trial 3 in session 2 during week 2. This is the rest of her data for week 1 through week 6. I would have done my second intervention if I had a little more time, but she needed to be able to finish the intervention 1 by identifying her letters and the sounds that they make with 100% accuracy before we could move on to intervention number 2. So she did end up getting to 100%. I'm so proud auntie moment, at week 6, and she did it very quickly and very easily, which was really awesome. Also, I don't know why this got messed up at the bottom of the graph, but there you go. Alright, so this is the second intervention strategy that I would have done if she had gotten to 100% a little bit quicker. So it's Reading Foundational Skills Standard 2, 3A, 2E, and 3D. This has to do with spelling and being able to substitute different letters and spelling words differently based on changing one letter. So my objectives for this are based off the intervention 1 strategy. So my objective 1 is directly from my first intervention strategy. Students will be able to correctly identify the sounds of all the letters of the alphabet verbally, including all vowel sounds, with 100% accuracy as recorded by the special education teacher. And when she completed the test the second time, at the end of the strategy, she got 100% correct, which is awesome. Then the second objective, building on their knowledge of the alphabet and the alphabet sounds, students will be able to add or substitute the individual sounds in simple one-syllable words to make new words. And the essential question, how can I use ABCs to change words? So the materials, those same flashcards to make sure that she is still on track, the alphabet poster, personal whiteboard and marker for the special education teacher, and a vowel graphic organizer, which I will show. We reviewed flashcards with the student. She got 100% accuracy across 3 out of 3 consecutive trials. Then I wrote would write, because I didn't get to do this strategy. I was just used to talking in past tense. So then I would write bat and bot on the whiteboard and ask the students what the words have in common, and they should respond with the B and the T, and that the vowels are what is different. Then ask students to identify their vowels again, A, E, I, O, U, and then ask the students what vowel can we change in bot and bat to make another word. The following answers: bet, bit, but. So then we can model the graphic organizer by using bat, and right here is the graphic organizer. It's called Missing Vowels. Step 1, circle the vowel in the word, so they would then circle A. We would, as a class, circle A because that's the vowel in bat. Then we would choose a new vowel for the word. So for this one, I would choose probably I. So we would choose bit, or let's see here. So we would choose I, they'd write I there, and then our new word would be bit. And then we would draw a picture that lines up with that word, so they could do a little bit of rice or whatever they'd prefer. Looking back on this strategy, I probably would change bat to bit, because bats are a little bit easier to draw than the other words that you can change bat into. But for this purpose, it works fine. And then students, either individually or with a partner, would complete the rest of the assignment. So cat, they could do cot and draw a little cot right there. Dog, dig, a shovel. Lamp, limp, and somebody with a crutch or something. Bond, band, and they could draw a little band there, or a rubber band. Last, list, they could draw a shopping list. So there are examples for the Missing Vowels graphic organizer. All right, by the end of the lesson, the students should be able to identify all letters of the alphabet with their proper sound, including vowels, with 100% accuracy, and should be able to change vowels in words to create different words with 80% completion, about 20 out of 24 boxes correctly completed. So in the graphic organizer here, each box, 1, 2, 3, 4, on each problem counts for this assessment. All right, looking back at her data, she was able to get to 100%, so I would implement this intervention during week 7's intervention time, because she needed to get to 100% in order to complete intervention number 2. And that is the end of the presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I definitely did, and I'm glad I got to brag about my niece learning her ABCs. So that was pretty awesome. Happy summer!